15 love.
29 years of age now is Jasmine. Had a couple of coaching changes of late, doesn't she? Of course, there was so much stability behind the scenes, but made some changes in the last few months. Renzo Furlan, of course, who was dropped. Mark Lopez came in. He didn't last very long. So she's had a couple of different people steering the ship.
And even though she missed that backhand, you can see how quickly Paolini was up to that short ball, and that was one of the big differences in her game a couple of years ago before she shot on the scene and made the finals of major tournaments in Roland Garros and Wimbledon, taking the ball so much earlier now.
Yeah, 34 match wins already this season. That's a very good tally. Working with Federico Gao now. There's Sara Errani next to him. Just helping out, we're told, for the North American summer.
You can already see the footwork from Jovic, how exact it is, how her feet are always working, always moving, very dynamic. Both players really have that down, the footwork. Nice and bouncy, very precise there. And that's the type of rally Jovic needs to avoid, is the forehand cross-court rallies. That's where she will probably fall short, matching up with Jasmine Paolini, who has the powerful stroke off that side.
Really impressive change of directions from the Italian. He wins a difficult opening game. What's it like being 17 years of age out there? Are you fresh? Are you
feels to lose, so you think anything is possible, and then the second phase is the one where you've already failed a few times. You know that that's possible. You don't have the experience yet to deal with everything, and that's where the third phase comes in. When you've seen it all, you become a cynic. But you also have the experience to deal with it all.
Yep. If you go into the story, grew up with a Serbian father and a Croatian mother. I think it was that way around. They were immigrants. They moved to California. Two daughters. One also plays tennis at the UCLA on the team there. incredible story. And everybody that knows this young lady, as Petko says, talks of her ambition. Very smart young lady. Very focused.
You can see how once Paolini has a bit of time and strikes that forehand or backhand, she can really accelerate off both wings, but that forehand is heavy on top of being fast. That just pushes Jovic back. Only 17 years old, still needs to grow into her body as an athlete as well, of course. That requires some time.
Jovic played a lot at the Kramer Tennis Center. She was training for a while now, lives in Florida, but Peter Smith helped her out a lot. Of course, Peter Smith was one of the most famous college coaches of all time at USC. He helped her a lot in those big developmental years. Return.
That second serve is a shot that still needs some work for Jovic. Only 75 miles per hour, and it gives Paolini enough time to move around her backhand. That's her favorite shot in the world, when she can move around her backhand and from that corner play forehands. You better watch out.
Constantly having made the final in Cincinnati. Or Mason, Ohio, of course, which is exactly where it is. Not quite in Cincinnati, but it's close.
Some would say.
Yeah. Some tough questions already. There's the Italian. That's the stuff. Paolo Lorenzi at the back there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Next to, I think, was that the Italian Billie Jean King Cup captain, I think?
Tatiana Garbin.
Yeah.
They are just such a tightly knit group. Here she is, Tatiana. She's been the Billie Jean King Cup captain for a while, and next to her is Sara Irani's long-time coach. They only come in groups.
Yep.
Love.
Now that +1 shot looks so easy, but if Paolini doesn't get up to it as quickly as she did, just take a look here. She's taking it almost half volley. That's how quickly she's up to it. It becomes a much more difficult shot that you have to lift and use your legs. This way, it's all timing, and then gets the smash. Beautifully done.
the
13,
juniors here last
15.
year. Jovic lost in the semi-finals of the girls' juniors last year to Mika Stojsavljevic, the British player who ended up winning the tournament. Another player, of course, with Serbian heritage,
Ball
Stojsavljevic.
15. Let the serve. Ball 13.
Got a few good strikes in here on second serve, Jovic. Maybe starting to find her groove slowly. Another second serve.
Looking to be very aggressive, and on that occasion just not adding the control. It's been an excellent start here from Jasmine Paolini.
First
Won
set.
the opening 3 games. Won the title in Ilkley this summer in Yorkshire, which was a week that a win that got her inside the top 100. Tom Gutteridge, you might just be able to hear down there. Of course, there's a couple of people in that corner with Jovic.
Thank you.
Thierry Champion, I notice, is down there. I think he works for the USTA now, doesn't he, Thierry? Former French player. Caught the Italian by surprise.
Yeah, 2 slice serves on second serve here in this game. In the previous game, she went for a bit of a kick, and Paolini took full advantage on the right. Katie Rinaldi, if I'm not mistaken. The head is hiding half the face.
That's right. And Kathy, of course, was the Billie Jean King Cup captain until recently. If we just keep panning along, you'll see Thierry Champion. There he is. Former player was Thierry for many years. Now I think works for the USTA.
Left the service.
He is the women's national coach at the USTA. Here's Thierry alongside Tom Gutteridge.
See that first point, how you use your
Paolini leads
go up and then
3 against 1.
both sides. Keep opening up the
First
floor,
set.
looking to a change. Great job, Iva.
Yeah, based down in Florida. Now having left her home in LA area. That's where the big USTA base is, or one of them anyway, down at Lake Nona. Do head to usopen.org if you haven't already. You can keep up to date with everything that's going on here.
15 low.
Some tight matches today, a lot of competitive ones, a lot of five-setters on the men's side. They're being played out this afternoon.
And she's making some strides here, Jovic, on second serves. Here we have Sara Aryna, doubles partner of Paolini, who won the gold medal together at the Olympic Games in Paris.
Yeah, she's $500,000 richer than she was when she arrived here as well, having won the mixed doubles last week. Alongside Andrea Vavasori, what a fun watch they were. Second seeds in the women's doubles. Paolini and Aryna. Wasn't even close.
15
Lost the
14.
point. There was an opportunity to do pretty much anything off that ball, and the execution was not good. And here was two chances for the teenager to get back on serve. Second serve was only 78 miles an hour. It was certainly there for the taking. Oh, she's missed it. Would you believe it?
Only just. It was a perfect reaction return of a good serve from Paolini. And then she saw Paolini sprint over there to cover the open corner and just overcooked it slightly. Back to deuce.
Advantage, Jovic.
We'll get a third opportunity here, though, to try and get her first break of the evening.
And in a way, it's almost unlucky for Jovic that she has already played Paolini, because Paolini has clearly scouted her out, having had that match in Indian Wells. All four serves during crunch time went into the forehand of Jovic. She's trying to apply a bit of spin to get it out of the strike zone of Iva. Yeah, you could see it clearly there. There was a lot more spin, a lot more rotation on that forehand, and it just jumped out of Jovic's strike zone. Iva likes it a bit flatter around hip height, particularly off the forehand, so she can use that pace to redirect.
So a good test survived from Jasmine Paolini's perspective. And it's the Italian that is able to push on in this opening set, 4-1. She's in front. And the 17-year-old had some work to do in this opening set. Played all the majors this year. In fact, she won the wildcard challenge here in the States to get into the Australian Open. She won the wildcard challenge for the French Open as well. So won that. Of course, they have that little mini battle, don't they, here in the States, for the highest points scorer for events leading into those two majors. She won both of those. So they've got wildcards into both events, won around in both. Lost to Rybakina, in fact, in both events, in Melbourne and in Paris. Good experience, Petko, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's 17 years old. There is still so much progress for her to be made, and she's already so far. It's really impressive and amazing to see somebody so young be this mature.
Yeah, parents are actually both pharmacists. Dad played a little bit of tennis in Serbia back in the day, but wanted his daughters to enjoy the sport.
Paolini leads 4-2.
Got a presence, on-court presence, doesn't she? Jovic, just the way she walks around, there's a just has that air of sort of I belong here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I went to watch her last year, she was only 16 years old playing Alexandrova on court 11. It was absolutely packed, and she was fighting her heart out there, running for every ball, and she already has made so much progress from last year when I saw her. She could barely hit winners last year. Now she's definitely put a few miles per hour of pace on both her ground strokes, forehand and backhand.
Yeah, that defeat 7-5 in the third, as Petko said. 3 hours that match was in the second round here last year.
And it just felt like it was all on Alexandrova's racket, but the fighting spirit of Jovic kept it alive. But now I do feel like she can do some inroads, and she can
hurt more.
Hurt more, absolutely. That's the only thing that we've seen today from Jovic, that higher forehand that jumps out of the hip height. She had a few times problems to control it, flies long on her, and still that acceleration of the hand and the wrist to keep it down.
She did get control of it. It was a bit shorter, wasn't it? And therefore she had a little bit more time. Just a little bit of extra pace once again, forcing Paolini into the error. She has dominated the shorter exchanges so far, has the American. But interestingly, in the rally length between 5 and 8, Paolini has won 9 and only lost 3. So the longer the rally has gone so far, the more it's favoured the Italian.
Yeah, that's exactly the one again, and I think that's the reason why Paolini has been controlling the longer rallies. That's when she has the opportunity to play that heavily rotated ball a bit more. Here it is also in graphic, in case you didn't believe Nick Lester.
I mean, I would perfectly understand that, Petko. You need evidence, okay? Don't take my word for it. What do you see on the forehand? Anything technically, Petko?
I just think that, yes, I think that technically, it's not that it's a bad stroke. I just think technically it's more made for that flat kind of stroke. So if Paolini puts a bit of rotation on the ball, that's when she's kind of cannot lean on it and cannot take the pace. She has to create more.
Continues to be an issue for her right now. That was a wild finish. Good defense, though, from the Italian. Certainly made a name for herself in that department. 5-2 it is, opening set. Yeah, encouraging words from the coach. Started the year, in fact, ranked 191 in the world. So it gives you an idea of just how much success she's had already at the ITF level. Won the 100K event in Florida. That was in April this year. And then, as we said, won the 125K event in Ilkley on the grass. It's a really good summer. Great wins last week in Cincy as well. She beat Noskova. There's a lucky loser, 3 in love there.
And that Ilkley tournament, Nick, is traditionally a very, very strong challenger. I'm putting quotation marks, which is bad when you're not on TV, actually, but just with your voice. But let it be known that that's what I just did.
I thought you were going to say it's traditionally a wet tournament because it rains a lot in Yorkshire.
It is. That's true, too. But it's also a very strong challenger, usually.
Yes, we have the odd bit of precipitation in Yorkshire every now and again. But it is, as you say, beautiful spot.
That was a beautiful camera angle. I love when we have that. It's difficult to watch an entire match like this, but to just get a sense of what these players out there are doing tactically, and you could see very clearly how Paolini decided to change the rotation up, and that's where the unforced error was drawn, and you can see it here, 12-3 on the forehand side for Jovic. And that's the matchup, right? That's not what she does every match. It's because Paolini is hitting that rotated forehand. There was another attempt to do the same here. Just missed the mark from Paolini.
And 8 of 19 first serves as Jovic. That was a better second. Paolini just couldn't create the route for the return. Disappointed, you can see. wrong with that shot, is there? That is extremely secure. And it keeps her involved in this opening set.
Paolini leads 5-3.
Yeah, nice to see her.
The way you're playing, but you're trying to make these short balls like too good, and you just try to flow through them a little bit. Okay. Come on, great work.
And coach just saying, don't overplay the short ones. There were a few that Iva missed. That backhand down the line, really a thing of a beauty. Reminiscent of Belinda Bencic sometimes, wouldn't you say, Nick?
Yeah. That was what they were talking about, wasn't it? Just bigger targets. Use the pace if you've got it. Didn't need to be near the lines.
I would have been shocked if she had made it, because no 17-year-old should be that good at the net.
So true. Just a little bit of hesitation, wasn't there? It was, she hit it and was like, do I come in here?
And it does feel like Paolini is shaky today, Nick, right? It's just that on the big points, she has managed to reel it right back in, Jasmine Paolini. And there's yet another tiny little opening for Jovic, who had 15-40 in all of Paolini's service games except the first one.
He's had an abundance of opportunities to break already. And that is one of her cleanest forehands of the evening. 2 more chances to break for the 17-year-old. Some positive reinforcement from the corner. Well, she can't say she hasn't had chances in this set. Paolini's definitely not been at her best so far. But she might escape unharmed. Set point. Sealed with her first ace of it. Wasn't necessarily the best set of tennis we're going to see all week. Neither player perhaps finding their stride. Paolini, though, able to get the break and hold on. She leads 6-3 here on Armstrong. Use your experience.
Nicely done by Jovic, that half volley. I think for 2 reasons it's tough. Yes, you definitely feel a bit nervier playing a teenager. You want to show them who's top dog, especially if you're a seeded player. That's how all these competitive athletes think. And on the other hand, the younger they are, the higher the probability is that you've never played them.
Yep.
And I think these players really rely on preparation. Even the greats, Novak Djokovic talked about it today in press, how it was difficult for him playing Svajda because he had watched tons of videos about him, but just didn't know how his tennis ball feels like on the other side and needed some time to adjust to that. And that's why I thought it was actually unlucky for Iva Jovic that she has played Paolini already in Indian Wells. I think it would have been better for her to come in, and Paolini doesn't know anything about her.
Yeah. Just actually been given some numbers from Hawkeye in terms of the speed so far. The forehand speed. Jovic actually with a lot more pace on the forehand. Obviously, if you're not controlling it, it's completely irrelevant. But she's got about 8 miles an hour more pace on the forehand than Paolini, averaging 76 miles an hour on that side tonight. Paolini actually hitting her backhand bigger than her forehand so far this evening, which can be the case for the Italian. There's a good example of that pace that she can operate with.
And it's such a good point you're making, because when Paolini was on tour, the forehand was the weaker side in a way. Yes, she built her game with the forehand, but you knew if you could get into that quickly and rush her, that's when a lot of unforced errors or short balls would come out. And then she just came out into the season last year and the forehand was completely mended. Had worked so hard on it. And also we have to keep in mind, Paolini plays a different kind of forehand than Jovic. She has a lot more spin and rotation on it compared to the flatter ground stroke of Jovic's on the forehand wing.
Gift.
Second set.
You can see how frustrating it is for Jovic right now, who's not right here then. What a good second that was.
Yeah, beautifully placed onto the short point in the court. That's something you see a lot from the players on clay courts, not so much on the hards. Nice variation there.
How's that for a combination of shots?
I just love that play. We see that so rarely. To open the court. Take a look at this right here. This is an opening of the court. This was not meant to be a winner, but it just turns out to be the perfect play, and it takes away the legs of your opponent. That's the key. You have to make an extra step if you're on the other side to run that down and do that over and over and over again.
It's reminiscent of Maria Sharapova's drive volley out of the air, wasn't it? She was a pretty good exponent of that shot. Kind of made it her own, really, Maria. Magnificent half volley.
14-15.
Well done, Iva. Well done.
Let's second service.
Well, and if Jovic has watched some of the last matches of Paolini, she will know that Paolini has had some trouble serving matches out. Was up 6-1, 6-2, 4-1 in Montreal and lost the match. Remedied it well in Cincinnati.
Interesting, because it just felt like Jovic wanted to get out of that pattern, didn't it, a little bit?
Yeah, and this was really clear to see how Paolini took off pace deliberately to make it harder for Jovic to accelerate.
Finish very quickly up to the short ball.
Advantage. Paolini.
Continues to make inroads without being able to win the big points here so far, really, isn't it? When you think of the scoreline, 6-3, 1-love, a set and a break, but she's actually only won 5 more points in this match as Paolini. It's not like it's a big difference, really, between the two so far.
Paolini.
Brilliant accuracy off the serve. And yet again, she's given a good test on it. Once again, she survives.
Yeah, and if you watching Paolini and how important this game was to her, I think she feels exactly what you just said, Nick, that it is much closer than the scoreline indicates. 6-3, 2-love. If you just pick up your phone and look at live scores, you're thinking, oh, Paolini is completely in control of this. But Iva Jovic had so many opportunities that she just wasn't able to take.
She knew where that second serve was going, didn't she? She was jumping all around it very early indeed. Look at this.
Yeah, that second serve really is a problem for Jovic, and her first serve has dropped off further. She is now at 38%, and Paolini all over that second serve. It's sort of a slice, but it doesn't stay low enough for it to be trouble on the other side. She aims for the body, but Paolini has a good forehand. Now she just tried to make this one, only 80 miles per hour on that first serve.
Suffocating. Once again, the return really setting the tone in the rally early on. And she did not let Jovic settle over the course of the exchange. 3 more break points here, which would put Paolini almost in a close to an unassailable position. What a clean game that was. By far and away the best of the match from the Italians' perspective. And she has got a real grip here on Armstrong. She leads by a set and 3-love. That is a touch of class from Jasmine Paolini.
15-0.
May have taken a little while to play her best tennis, but it feels like she is at the moment, doesn't it?
I agree. I agree. The last 8-9 points or so were absolute high quality.
Got herself up to number 4 in the world last year. And in the autumn last year, that was a career high. Not too far off that now at 8. has been able to hold that position inside the world's top 10 all season, despite the fact, as we said, she came in with a ton of points to defend, particularly in the spring. Good effort. Just broke the top 10 for the first time last year at Roland Garros. Seven break points the 17-year-old has had in this match so far without converting. She's been able to capitalize on one. And has given herself a lifeline here.
And so fascinating. Paolini was just had the best stretch of the match and then just sort of fell off from that quality.
Do head to usopen.org and follow us on all the social media channels. Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And hashtag US Open to follow the conversation. This gives a great depth, doesn't she? Paolini soft early in the rally. The depth is able to force her opponents back, and then she's able to get up the court off the ball quickly.
Just the respect of Paolini's second serve return creeping in here slowly for Jovic. It was a very risky second serve at 96 miles per hour.
As you say, she's got to a stage where the serve is so out of rhythm. She's hitting second serves as first at the minute, and that's not working either. It's been a big issue for her tonight.
And again, that we talked about it from the very first game on, Nick, that forehand cross-court rallies is not a good indicator for Jovic. Those are the rallies that Paolini tends to win over and over again, particularly when they go longer.
Break to love. The 17-year-old has had major problems behind her own deal this evening. Paolini responds, having been broken herself, to push on here, 4-1. It's one of 10 straight points now won by the returner in this match. I think it's been pretty clear tonight the areas that she needs to work on, isn't it? They say that when you play the best, you find out a little bit more about your game and where it gets exposed. And tonight, Jovic has been exposed off that side more often than not. Not there, though.
I agree with you. I do think that the matchup is really bad for her in terms of, I think she could play somebody like Alexandrova, just because we have talked about her before, and feel her forehand just fine and be great off that wing because it's a different ball that comes at her. But those spin forehands have really been an issue, so she needs to work on that.
Primarily because the contact point is different, Petko? Is that what you're saying?
It moves in your strengths when you connect with it. You can't really use the pace. You have to create yourself. So that acceleration of the wrist needs to be better. That's something she can work on. She can work on those higher forehands as well when the ball jumps out of her favorite strike zone around hip high. And the serve, I think that's been very clear that especially the second serve has been a big problem tonight.
Paolini.
This game is sort of a microcosm of this match, really, isn't it? There's been parts of it that have been quality. There have been parts of it that have been, at times, untidy. Not like those glasses.
I would say just exactly like those glasses. There are parts that are incredible and parts that are just a bit untidy with that.
Yeah, fair point.
That is very nicely done, and she just caught that ball in time. If you take a look now where she strikes it, the ball is about to jump high and she lets it slightly drop to have it exactly where she wants it to be.
It's amazing when you lose confidence in a shot. The more time you have on it, the worse it can be. And that was a perfect example of that, wasn't it? She actually had so much time there, but there was just a little bit of hesitancy because of how frail it's been this evening. hesitation there.
Advantage. Paolini.
Countless times this evening she's been under pressure on serve, and she's been able to dig in and deliver a hold.
5-1. Second set.
Lost in the round of 16 here last year to Paolini, to Karolina Mukova. Actually only played 2 matches because she got a walkover last year en route against Karolina Pliskova and wasn't able to play. Winner of the day for Jovic.
That's the only thing I would have liked from her a bit more today in terms of strategy. We talked about the technical aspects, but just that backhand down the line a few more times, because Paolini crowds the backhand side, I think could have opened up a few patterns for her.
14-15.
Maybe there's still time.
Yeah, it's been an evening where it's been just a little too erratic at times. She takes a long look up to the scoreboard. She is a long way behind now. And it's a set and 5-2 for the Italian. So Paolini serving for a place in the 3rd round. This match hasn't quite lived up to the expectations, I don't think, tonight. Oh yes, might do if Jovic can produce that sort of tennis.
Trying to release some of the tension that has been with her all match long until now. Maybe it's not too late yet. Paolini was up 6-2, 4-1 in Montreal before she ended up losing the match. The serve speaks otherwise, though.
That's exceptional. 2 from 2 when she's moved in this game.
So much more decisive here when she did decide to go forward, much closer to the net. And then the volleys are a bit higher. Nice smile.
Yeah, fairly revealing, those smiles, aren't they? Because it does suggest that she has been a little bit, as you say, tense tonight.
Well, and I think what also speaks to that theory is that she's played tremendously well on the 15 all points, on the 30-15, and then when she had an opportunity, that's when things went awry.
My goodness, has she had a load of those.
30-14.
Copious chances she's had tonight to break. Here's another. And this time she dials the forehand in and keeps herself in touch just about.
Second set.
So, a mini comeback here from this 17-year-old from California. Has made quite the impression in the last 6 months as Iva Jovic. Tonight hasn't really brought her best so far.
Yeah, it's been a very tactical match. The two have played in Indian Wells against each other, and Paolini clearly has scouted all the flaws and advantages of her opponent's game, even though her opponent, Iva, is only 17 years old, has used her topspin forehand nicely into the forehand of Jovic and attacked the serves, the second serves particularly, relentlessly.
Yeah, second serve points won tonight, as Petko said it. This set, just 1 from 10. That is a failing grade.
Let the service.
And I know what they look like, Petko, those failing grades.
Well, she doesn't, Iva, because she is a straight A student.
Yeah.
Very smart young woman.
And there'll be plenty more years to come, surely, for her,
14.
if she can stay healthy. Sara Aryna with gritted teeth. Man, is she tough. 3 match points. First ace of the set. Continues to hang on here. Fingernails.
Nice change up there from Jovic to go into the slice second serve rather than go for the body as she has been doing, and Paolini has been crushing those forehands.
That is the cruelest of blows.
Advantage. Paolini.
Left the 17-year-old utterly stranded. Nowhere to go. Fourth opportunity for the 7th seed to move into round 3. One of the best exchanges of the match. And the American comes out on top in it.
Yeah, did so well in this rally to push Paolini far back behind the baseline. Paolini lately has been doing that on match points when she's up, becomes a bit passive, retreats a bit too far behind the baseline. Little chance here for Jovic, possibly.
Really hasn't won many of those sorts of length of rallies, has she, tonight? It's been the Italian that's been able to dominate them. The deflation in the crowd was very clear. Third double of the evening. Paolini taking on a lot of risk with the final ball, but didn't Jovic do well to stay with her?
Advantage. Jovic.
What a response. Some of the best tennis of the match right now, Petko.
Yeah, that's, I think, what we expected from this match when it started. But just now, going up to its highest temperature. And you can see Paolini here, when she's not having the match point, a lot more pace on her ground strokes, more aggressive. She needs that kind of mindset when she has the match point to close this one out, because it has become a lot tougher out there.
Pursuit of that forehand wing tonight has been relentless, and it has at times proved to be brutal. An hour and a half just shy. These two have been at it here. Paolini with another chance to seal the deal. It's Jasmine Paolini. Puts paid to the hopes of the 17-year-old American. Undoubtedly, we'll see more from Iva Jovic. Some good experience out here on a big stage for her. Paolini, though, with a little bit of room for improvement, you have to say. She's through, though, to the third round. 3-3.
Yeah, this was not her best match, but it certainly was a tactical masterpiece from her. She knew she wasn't feeling all her ground strokes as well as she had been doing so in Cincinnati. Says hi to a photographer who did not run onto the court initially compared to another.